I've always loved playing video games. From World of Warcraft to Minecraft, and from LEGO Star Wars to Destiny, I have put tens of thousands of hours of my life into these immersive worlds. But I don't just enjoy playing these games. I also love creating content within them too. For nearly 15 years, I've been creating YouTube videos, broadcasting live streams, and in the last decade, working on short films. And I'm always looking for the next way to improve what I can create. I'm now lucky enough to work in a position where I can combine my passion for games and my passion for content creation into one, thanks to a technology called virtual production. The journey I've been on to get here has taken me to so many different places. From creating simple YouTube videos for Minecraft as a very small teenager, to working on dozens of short films while studying at university. And from working in a post-production house in London on the lowest rung of the career ladder to editing YouTube videos for my favorite content creators gaining millions of views. In 2019, I returned to University of Staffordshire, working in their media centre, assisting students with their projects. A few years and a few annual photos later, I heard that they were looking for someone to work, operate, and teach their brand new virtual production studio. I applied, I was lucky enough to get that position, and now I spend my time trying to bring virtual production to as many people as possible. And I hope by the end of my talk, you can see just why I am so excited about this area of filmmaking. So, what is virtual production? Well, if you've seen projects such as The Mandalorian, or 1899, or The Batman, then you've already seen virtual production in action, possibly without even realizing it. In its simplest form, virtual production is the combination of the physical and the virtual, blending together physical elements such as actors and props with real-time virtual environments created inside of game engines. This allows creators the ability to film in locations that they may not have had access to in the past, or in locations that simply don't exist at all in real life. To give you some context, in the past, if a film scene required a moving background, then filmmakers could make use of a technique called rear projection. This involved setting up a projector displaying a video clip behind their set. The most famous example, and one I'm sure most of you will have seen, is in the James Bond film, Dr. No. The problem with rear projection is that it has a certain look to it. It works as a shot, but the more you look into it, the more you realize that it doesn't look particularly realistic. And there is often a disconnect between what the actor is doing in the foreground and what's happening in that displayed background. Thankfully, over time, the technology behind rear projection has been modified, improved, and updated to become what we now know as virtual production. Modern virtual production studios often make use of three key pieces of equipment. The first, as I've mentioned, is game engine technology, allowing you to build immersive, photorealistic worlds that then get displayed on the second piece of equipment, which is large LED screens, often called LED volumes. Finally, we use camera tracking technology, which links together our physical and our virtual cameras. So anything we do in the physical set with our camera is replicated on the virtual environment, allowing you to keep accurate perspective when working with dynamic camera movements. Thanks to these pieces of technology, I've been able to work on my own pieces of virtual production. My favorite being our short film called Drifting. Drifting was shot entirely within a virtual production studio and was filmed in less than a single day. Simply put, without virtual production, this film would not have been made, and we are so lucky that we have access to this amazing equipment. Now, I'm sure you're thinking, why should I use virtual production? What is the benefits? Well, when people come to me and say, Daniel, what is virtual production? What's the main benefit of it? My answer is always the same: flexibility. I always come back to the example of a film crew ready to film the pinnacle shot of their project. A shot on a hillside overlooking a sleepy little village with the sun rising in the distance. The cast and crew were set up long before sunrise, ready for that brief period of time where the conditions would be just right. But then, disaster strikes. The weather forecast was wrong. The clouds start rolling in and the rain starts to fall, and all of a sudden, that 10-minute period they had to get that perfect shot has now gone. The shoot now needs to be rearranged, the kit rebooked, the travel and accommodation rescheduled, all of which comes at a massive cost to the production. And that's if they don't decide to just scrap the shot in its entirety in the first place, which would be a massive shame. On the other hand, with virtual production, you're in control of everything. If you're going for that sunrise shot, great. You can place the virtual sun exactly where you need it to be within your virtual environment, and you don't have to worry about the clouds and the rain. If something goes wrong while filming, for example, a camera misses its mark, or an actor forgets their lines, that's not a problem. You can be reset and ready to go again within seconds. And if something needs to change in the environment, for example, the location of a tree, the time of day, or the rotation of an entire building, this can be done in real time. Another aspect of virtual production which I consider to be a game changer is the way through which the virtual production workflow can be used to enhance the pre-production process. Pre-production for a project often consists of a mountain of documentation and test footage, all created with the goal in mind of making your shoot run as smooth and efficiently as possible. By using your virtual production environment, you can create images for storyboards and floor plans to a higher quality than ever before, detailing everything that you need for every single shot. To give you an example of this, here are the in-game engine storyboard images I created for drifting, alongside the final shots we created for the film. Thanks to these images, we knew everything from lens choices and camera placements to actor locations and the specific rotation angle of every single prop within the environment, which made life so much easier for us on our shoot day. A common misconception is that a virtual production studio is just a shooting space, and that isn't the case. By recreating physical locations inside of a virtual environment, you can make use of a virtual production studio as a rehearsal space, allowing you to test anything you need before having to make often lengthy travel to a physical location. To prove this point, here's me testing the TEDx talk inside of our virtual production studio. Hopefully, you can tell that it was done well. Now, I'm sure all of that sounds great and incredibly useful, but I would be disingenuous if I didn't touch a little bit on the issues, the challenges currently facing virtual production, and how I think we should go about fixing them. The two main issues that I see are that of knowledge and accessibility. Because virtual production is so new, and the technology behind it is constantly being updated, there are only a small pool of knowledgeable professionals currently working within the field, and from my own experience, it is difficult to find accurate, in-depth, up-to-date information around virtual production. And this has led to the space being seen as a closed-off side of filmmaking, something that is difficult for newcomers to get into. And we need to rectify that. The main way we can break through this barrier is by increasing access to learning resources around the space, whether that takes the form of more online tutorials and videos, or by inviting those interested in virtual production into studios so they can get hands-on with the equipment. But this leads me on to the second issue. The cost of building a virtual production-ready space is very high, ranging from thousands to tens of thousands for basic entry-level studios and well into the millions for those used by the high-end production companies. Entry-level, consumer-grade equipment can be used to make a virtual production setup, but this comes with drawbacks in fidelity and processing power and realism, all of which then leads to substandard results. That's why I believe over the next few years, we need to invest in the technology behind virtual production to make it cheaper and more accessible, so productions large and small can make the most of this amazing technology. I firmly believe that the future of virtual production and filmmaking in general belongs in the hands of the next generation. And I am so proud and so lucky that I'm able to bring this amazing technology to people who may not have had access to it in the past, or even just to talk about virtual production on a stage like this to people who may not have ever heard of it before. The tools needed to build entire worlds and create content within them are more open than they have ever been, and they're only going to get more powerful. But for virtual production to thrive, those of us in the industry have responsibilities. To expand access, to share our knowledge, and to support those starting out. Because when new creators get access to the latest technology, to virtual production, the entire world of content creation will grow stronger. Thank you.